Next speaker is Harold Save.
Mr. Mayor and Honorable Commissioners, we celebrate today the anniversary of the real Tea Party of December 16th, 1773, when the people fought back against financial tyranny against the ruling class. Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth now has 12,000 signatures demanding a new investigation of the mass murders of 9/11-2001. Gators 9/11 Truth has joined Richard Gage's organization as a regional action group. We have online meetup site where anyone can join us who's interested in justice. People are seeking justice, Mr. Mayor. Americans now living a life predicted by Naomi Klein in her book, The Shock Doctrine, The Rise of Disaster Capitalism. Ponzi schemes, credit default swaps, worthless securities, legalized fraud, windfall profits from planned disasters. People who once believed 9/11 was a terrorist attack by a man in a cave are having second thoughts. They're beginning to wake up. They're asking questions and getting answers, solid answers about scientific proof that explosives were used to destroy the Twin Towers and Building 7. Proof that the FBI cannot debunk yet today. Too many of the newly enlightened are the families of soldiers who have paid the ultimate price, tragically, to profit an international banking cartel and the Federal Reserve. In the 9 years since 9/11, Americans have been repeatedly betrayed by elected officials. The criminal behavior of the banksters who turned Americans' retirement savings from 401ks to 201ks was rewarded when the President and the Congress supported the banksters instead of the victims, their own constituents. Betrayal when the government and the 9/11 Commission failed to hold a single person accountable for the 9/11 disaster. Later, members of the 9/11 Commission admitted they had been set up to fail. What? Set up to fail? The one single investigation into the 9/11 mass murders that sent America into 2 illegal wars, torture, Abu Ghraib, failed? This leaves the American people with no investigation, no justice. Of the biggest unsolved crime of mass murder and pretext for war in American history, Mr. Mayor, this is not acceptable. The Hurricane Katrina betrayal, where government response for New Orleans canal systems were deliberately set up to fail. It's time for a real Tea Party, Mr. Mayor. It's time to end the war. It's time for a new investigation of 9/11. Let's roll.
The next speaker is Bob Tuskin.
Good evening. Mayor Craig Lowe here in the city of Gainesville, Florida, has gotten a lot of slack lately over hiring his campaign manager, was it?
Please continue your comments.
And because of that, I'd like to make a few comments. Now, I'm not here to ask you to resign for that reason, although I think I want you to resign for reasons I'll get into in just a moment. Mayor Craig Lowe, first and foremost, I'd like to say thank you for all the work you've done for the city of Gainesville and the community here. I also want to say that in conjunction with your oath to the Constitution of the United States of America, I think it's important that I highlight that for a moment, and we'll get back to that in just a little bit. But first, to recap a little bit about the local controversy about him hiring his campaign manager or whatever it was. You know, this sort of cronyism, from what I understand, and the clerk commissioner of the commission should be able to answer these questions, and from what I understand, Kurt has a great background as a clerk of the commission, and I approve of him doing the right thing in this case. Make a long story short, it's against the rules, so you weren't allowed to hire him, and then you sent it to some committee in which you headed yourself. I want to remind the viewers out there that here in the city of Gainesville, from what I understand, the mayor's role is no stronger than any of the commissioners. It's a soft mayor system. And I was sitting down with the former mayor of Gainesville the other day talking a little bit about going back to just 5 commissioners. I think it's a great idea, and he concurred. But Mayor Craig Lowe, I'm here today to ask you to resign because of penalty of crimes of treason of misprison. Okay? If I was equipped with the right paperwork, I'd ask you to turn yourself in right this second. Okay? This is crimes to humanity and will not be tolerated. We need you to take a stance. I've notified you about treason and misprision, and you've refused to acknowledge these issues. What am I to do? But sit in here and rant and tell you, you need to turn yourself in or you need to act about this. We've asked you several times to comment. You've ignored us. You've stonewalled this issue. The least you can do is respond to my statement today. The least you can do. Make a statement, tell us, stop talking to you about fluoride and 9/11 truth and the chemtrails being sprayed in the air that we all breathe. Tell us to go away. We never want to hear about your truth any longer. We don't like the conspiracies. Tell us something. But we're not going to sit here and let